Hello everybody, this is Crafty, and welcome to part 4 of the Lycanites Mobs Mod Showcase. Before we begin, I'd like to remind you to leave a like and subscribe if you do enjoy this video, and also follow me on Twitch, where I will be live streaming once I hit either 25 Twitch followers or 300 YouTube subscribers. And if you want to know about when I will be streaming, as well as some other new things for the channel that may or may not actually happen, you should then go check out my Instagram, because that is where you'll be able to vote on what stuff happens on the channel, what new series, what mods I showcase, anything like that. So without any further ado, let's get straight into the video, because it's been way too long. This is the Zoatar. The Zoatar has a health of 100, a defense of 4, and a melee attack damage of 2. The Zoatar can drop 1 to 5 bones, 1 to 5 leather, 6 to 12 prismarine shards, 3 to 6 prismarine crystals, 1 to 3 emeralds, and 1 diamond. In combat, the Zoatar will attack the player, inflicting a weight effect, and will also block attacks with its wings. However, when it is using its wings to block attacks, it cannot attack itself. The Zoatar can be tamed as a mount by using Dragon Treat. When mounted, you can hit X to use a mount ability, which will fold its wings forward and will block damage. Zoatar spawn in desert and plains biomes. The Zoatar has 2 variants, the Golden Zoatar and the Lux Zoatar. This is the Ramobra. The Ramobra has a health of 10, a defense of 0, and a melee attack damage of 2. The Ramobra can drop 1 to 3 slime balls and venom shot charges, 1 to 2 poison glands, and 1 Ramobra wing. In combat, the Ramobra will fire poison shot charges at the player. If they hit the player, it will inflict the plague and poison effect. If it hits the ground, it will leave behind a poison cloud. Ramobra spawn in swamp and dark oak forest biomes. The Ramobra has 2 variants, the Golden Ramobra and the Verdant Ramobra. This is a Quetzaldactral. The Quetzaldactral has a health of 120, a defense of 1, and a melee attack damage of 3. The Quetzaldactral can drop 3 to 6 bones and prismarine crystals, 6 to 12 prismarine shards, 1 to 3 emeralds, and 1 diamond. In combat, the Quetzalcoatl will fly after the player, afflicting them with the weight effect, as well as occasionally picking them up. The Quetzaldactyl can be tamed by using Dragon Treats, and once that occurs, it will be available as a mount. Once mounted, the Quetzaldactryl's mount ability allows you to pick up other mobs, including creepers, which will not ignite when picked up, but will ignite when dropped, allowing you to bomb the land beneath you. The Quetzaldactyl can be found flying over ocean biomes. The Quetzaldactyl has 2 variants, the Ashen Quetzaldactyl and the Golden Quetzaldactyl. This is the Morocc. The Morocc has a health of 120, a defense of 2, and a melee attack damage of 2. The Morocc can drop 3 to 6 bones and prismarine crystals, 6 to 12 prismarine shards, 1 to 3 emeralds, and 1 diamond. In combat, the Morocc will attack the player, afflicting them with the weakness debuff. The Morocc can be tamed by using Dragon Treats, and once it is tamed, it will function as a mount. Once mounted, the Morocc's mount ability allows you to quickly dash forwards. Morocc spawn in biomes with lots of large open space, such as plains biomes. The Morocc has 2 variants, the Lux Morocc and the Verdant Morocc. This is the Cockatrice. The Cockatrice has a health of 100, a defense of 2, and a melee attack damage of 2. The Cockatrice can drop 3 to 6 bones, feathers, and prismarine crystals, 6 to 12 chicken, 1 to 3 emeralds, and 1 diamond. In combat, the Cockatrice will peck at the player, afflicting them with the paralysis and aphasia effects. The Cockatrice can be tamed by using Dragon Treats and will then be available as a mount, whose mount ability is to peck at mobs, which will afflict them with the same effects as it would afflict a player. Cockatrice spawn in tropical biomes such as jungles. The Cockatrice has 2 variants, the Ashen Cockatrice and the Violet Cockatrice. This is the Ignabus. The Ignabus has a health of 400, a defense of 3, and a melee attack damage of 4. The Ignabus can drop 4 to 6 gunpowder, 16 to 32 coal, 4 to 8 magma cream, 10 to 40 gold nuggets, and 10 to 20 blaze powder and scorch fireball charges. In combat, the Ignabus will fire Scorchfire charges at the player, as well as leave a trail of fire wherever it goes. The Ignabus can be tamed by using dragon treats, and once it is tamed, you will be able to mount it. While mounted, the Ignabus's mount ability gives you fire resistance while riding it, as well as allows you to fire fireballs by hitting the button. However, it is difficult to aim because you can't really see it very well. Ignabus spawn in large pools of lava in the world. The Ignabus has two variants, the Violet Ignabus and the Verdant Ignabus. This is the Afrit. The Afrit has a health of 10, a defense of 0, and a melee attack damage of 1. The Afrit can drop 1 to 3 coal and scorchfire charges, and 1 to 2 blaze rods. In combat, the Afrit will attack the player using scorchfire charges, afflicting the penetration effect. The Afrit can be tamed and kept as a pet by using imp treats, and then it will actually be able to perch on your shoulder. Afrit spawn in any pool of lava in the world. The Afrit has two variants, the Violet Afrit and the Scarlet Afrit. This is the Oryx. The Oryx has a health of 10, a defense of 0, and a melee attack damage of 1. The Oryx can drop 1 to 8 snowballs and ice, and 1 to 3 ice fireball charges. In combat, the Oryx will fire frost fireball charges, man that's a mouthful, at the player, and if the player walks into the fire, they receive the slowness effect, and if they are hit directly by the frost fireballs, they will receive the mining fatigue effect. The Oryx can be tamed by using imp treats, and will then be able to perch on your shoulder and function as a pet. Oryx spawn in any type of cold biome. The Oryx has two variants, the Azure Oryx and the Violet Oryx. This is the Clink. The Clink has a health of 15, a defense of 1, and a melee attack damage of 1. Clinks can drop 1 to 3 iron ingots, 2 to 7 throwing scythe charges, and 1 Clink scythe. In combat, the Clink will fire Clink scythe charges at the player, afflicting them with the weight and aphasia effects. The Clink can spawn in desert biomes. The Clink has two variants, the Golden Clink and the Ashen Clink. This is the Neck. The Neck has a health of 15, a defense of 0, and a melee attack damage of 1. The Neck can drop 1 to 2 slime balls and poison glands. In combat, the Neck will rapidly attack the player, afflicting them with the poison and plague effects. The Neck can be tamed by using imp treats, and will then, similar to other imps, be able to perch on your shoulder and serve as a pet. Necks can spawn in underground caves. The Neck has two variants, the Keppel Neck and the Violet Neck. This is the Pixen. The Pixen has a health of 10, a defense of 0, and a melee attack damage of 1. The Pixen can drop 1 to 8 glowstone dust, 1 brown mushrooms and phantom membranes, 2 to 3 red mushrooms, and 1 to 3 trickster flare charges. In combat, the Pixen will give the player positive status effects, such as haste, speed, and jump boost until attacked or until there are enough of them. Once attacked, it will immediately stop giving status effects and fire trickster flare charges, which apply to the player random negative status effects. How did you oh, there it goes. Pixens can spawn in any type of forest biome. The Pixen has two variants, the Keppel Pixen and the Lux Pixen. This is the Reaper. The Reaper has a health of 10, a defense of 0, and a melee attack damage of 2. The Reaper can drop 1 to 3 bones and spectral bolt charges, 1 to 2 obsidian, and 1 wither skull. In combat, the Reaper will fire spectral bolt charges at the player, afflicting the player with the fear effect. The Reaper can spawn when a creature dies, or when someone is attempting to sleep, mistaking them for being dead. The Reaper has three variants, the Azure Reaper, the Verdant Reaper, and the Satan Claws Reaper, which is a special variation that only spawns during events. This is the Geist. The Geist has a health of 15, a defense of 0, and a melee attack damage of 2. The Geist can drop 1 to 3 rotten flesh and Geist livers, 1 to 2 ender pearls, and 1 skull. In combat, the Geist will charge at the player, attacking them with a melee attack. The Geist can spawn in Dark Oak Forests and the End. The Geist has two variants, the Dark Geist and the Verdant Geist. This is the Windigo. The Windigo has a health of 40, a defense of 3, and a melee attack damage of 2. The Windigo can drop 1 to 8 Snow and Pack Dice, 1 to 3 Tundra Charges, 2 to 5 Frosty Fur, and 1 Windigo Antler. In combat, the Windigo will fire Tundra Charges at the player, afflicting with a slowness effect on direct hit. If it misses and hits the ground, it will put down some icy ooze that will also afflict the slowness effect. And when the Windigo moves, it will generate Frostfire, which can spawn Reavers. Windigo will spawn in any biome where it is cold enough for it to snow. The Windigo has two variants, the Keppel Windigo and the Violet Windigo. This is the Crypt Keeper. The Crypt Keeper has a health of 25, a defense of 0, and a melee attack damage of 2. The Crypt Keeper can drop 1 to 3 Rotten Flesh and 1 to 2 Gold Nuggets. In combat, the Crypt Keeper will melee attack the player, afflicting the Aphasia effect. Crypt Keepers will spawn in desert biomes at nighttime. The Crypt Keeper has two variants, the Scarlet Crypt Keeper and the Verdant Crypt Keeper. This is the Ghoul. The Ghoul has a health of 15, a defense of 0, and a melee attack damage of 2. The Ghoul can drop 1 to 3 Rotten Flesh and 1 to 2 Coal. In combat, the Ghoul will move at the player and melee attack, afflicting the Poison and Plague effects. Ghouls can spawn in Swamp, Dark Oak Forest, and Jungle biomes. The Ghoul has two variants, the Scarlet Ghoul and the Verdant Ghoul. This is the undead boss, the Amalgalich. The Amalgalich has a health of 4,000, a defense of 2, and a melee attack damage of 4. The Amalgalich can drop 1 to 2 stacks of Shadowstone bricks, and Shadowstone tiles, 20 to 50 bones, 5 to 10 ender pearls, 1 to 2 stacks of shadow crystals, 10 to 20 gold ingots, diamonds, spectral charges, lob darklings charges, 1 to 3 aberration, beast, and undead soulstones, and 1 to 8 nether stars. So, in combat, the Amalgalich has 3 separate phases, and because I died instantaneously trying to show it in survival mode, I'm going to show it in creative. So, in phase 1, the Amalgalich will summon Reapers, and periodically pull every mob in around it and consume it, healing itself in the process. It will also throw Spectral Bolt charges, which will cause fear and blindness. So, once it's damaged enough, it will move on to phase 2. Now, for phase 2, the Amalgalich will stop trying to eat, and Geists will be spawned, and Epions. Now, the Geists will grow over time, and then burst into large areas of shadow fire. So, once you kill them, they will no longer do this, so that's something to definitely do. Now, killing the Epions will clear any shadow fire beneath them if there's too much in the ground for you to do anything. And you might want to kill them all before starting up to phase 3. Now, for phase 3, the Amalgalich will continue to pull in any mobs around it, including any leftover mobs from phase 2. And this can actually heal it back to phase 2. However, it will now throw balls of Darklings in the area, and the best strategy is to just keep attacking the boss, and don't let it heal up. And the boss will eat any mobs that were summoned during phase 2, but, and also make sure not to get, sucked in, because that will result in instant death. Once it is killed, it will then drop all of its items into where it died. The Amalgalich does not spawn naturally, and instead must be summoned at this altar. This altar can be made, and is made with a total of 4 diamond blocks, 16 obsidian, and 1 undead soul cube. The center pillar is 5 blocks tall, consisting of 2 obsidian on the top and bottom of the undead soul cube, and the outer pillars are 1 block away on the diagonal, and are 3 obsidian topped with a diamond block. On activation with a soul key, the Amalgalich will be summoned nearby, and an event will trigger. The Amalgalich has two variants, the Russet Amalgalich and the Ashen Amalgalich. This is the Crake. The Crake has a health of 10, a defense of 0, and a melee attack damage of 2. The Crake can drop 1 to 2 Crake meat and 1 to 2 clay balls. The Crake is a neutral mob and will not attack unless provoked, or if you run past it. If you run past it, then it will begin to attack you. Crakes can be farmed by using any type of meat, including fish and rotten flesh. The Crake can spawn in river and lake biomes. The Crake has two variants, the Keppel Crake and the Lux Crake. This is the Beholder. The Beholder has a health of 40, a defense of 2, and a melee attack damage of 2. Beholders can drop 1 to 3 gas tears and gunpowder, 4 to 16 glowstone dust, 1 to 2 Eyes of Ender, and 2 to 3 arcane laser storm charges. In combat, the Beholder will fire arcane laser storm charges at the player, afflicting the aphasia, decay, and weakness effects. In addition, if attacked on melee, they will steal any beneficial effects that the player has in order to heal themselves. Beholders can be tamed by using aberration treats, and then it will be available as a mount. When mounted, you can fly, get innate fire resistance, and can use its mount ability to fire an explosive charge. Beholders can spawn in mountain biomes and will often dwell near the surface in caves. The Beholder has two variants, the Azure Beholder and the Verdant Beholder. This is the Shade. The Shade has a health of 60, a defense of 1, and a melee attack damage of 3. The Shade can drop 1 to 2 Ender Pearls and 1 to 3 Obsidian. In combat, the Shade will attack the player, inflicting the Decay and Fear effect. The Decay effect preventing the regeneration of health, and the Fear effect causing the player to move around aimlessly. The Shades can be tamed by using aberration treats, and will then be available as a mount. Shades can spawn in deep, dark, underground regions such as caves. The Shade has two variants, the Keppel Shade and the Russet Shade. This is the Trite. The Trite has a health of 5, a defense of 1, and a melee attack damage of 1. The Trite can drop 1 to 3 string, 1 to 2 spider eyes, and 1 fermented spider eye. In combat, the Trite will leap at the player, afflicting them with the Wither effect. The Trite spawns in the Nether, and Void Trites spawn in the End. The Trite has 5 variants, the Verdant Trite, the Lux Trite, the Void Trite, the Ashen Void Trite, and the Azure Void Trite. This is the Astaroth. The Astaroth has a health of 40, a defense of 2, and a melee attack damage of 2. The Astaroth can drop 1 to 3 iron ingots, 3 to 8 redstone dust, 3 to 6 Devil Star charges, and 1 Astaroth Claw. In combat, the Astaroth will rapidly fire Devil Star charges from its claw tail. On impact, these will cause the Decay and Wither effects. Upon its death, it will shatter into numerous trites. The Astaroth spawns in the Nether, and Void Astaroths spawn in the End. Similar to the Trite, the Astaroth has 5 variants, the Golden Astaroth, the Scarlet Astaroth, the Void Astaroth, the Violet Void Astaroth, and the Keppel Void Astaroth. This is Asmodeus, the Aberration boss with a health of 4,000, a defense of 2, and a melee attack damage of 4. Asmodeus can drop 1 to 2 stacks of Demonstone, Demonstone Brick, Demonstone Tile, and Demonstone Crystal, 20 to 50 redstone and iron ingot, 10 to 20 gold ingots and diamonds, 1 to 8 nether stars, 1 to 3 demon and aberration soulstones, and 10 to 20 hellfire and doom fireball charges. Asmodeus is summoned with the following altar, where the center pillar has 2 pieces of obsidian, an aberration soulstone, and 2 more pieces of obsidian, and each of the corner towers is 3 blocks apart, with 3 pieces of obsidian topped with a block of diamond. When the Aberration Soul Stone in the center is right-clicked with a soul key, the boss battle will begin. The Asmodeus boss battle has 3 phases. In phase 1, Asmodeus will fire rings of demon star charges around him, and throughout the entire battle, will fire the Gatling gun on his underside at the player. In phase 2 of the Asmodeus boss battle, he will summon Astaroths, which need to be killed in order for him to be damaged again. In phase 3 of the Asmodeus boss battle, he will summon additional Astaroths, which will heal him, as well as summon numerous Cacodemons. This is the final stage of the boss battle, and the Astaroths can potentially heal him back to phase 2, so you are going to want to make sure to kill him quickly. Asmodeus has 2 variants, the Verdant Asmodeus and the Azure Asmodeus. This is the Belf. The Belf has a health of 15, a defense of 0, and a melee attack damage of 1. The Belf can drop 1 to 3 Netherwart and Doom Fireball charges. In combat, the Belf will fire Doom Fireball charges at the player, afflicting them with the decay effect. Walking into the red fire will also afflict you with the decay effect. Belf spawn in the Nether, and will go through Nether portals to invade the overworld. The Belf has 2 variants, the Scarlet Belf and the Dark Belf. This is the Behemoth. The Behemoth has a health of 40, a defense of 2, and a melee attack damage of 2. The Behemoth can drop 1 to 3 Hellfire Ball charges and 1 skull. However, the dropping of the skull is unconfirmed. In combat, the Behemoth will fire Hellfire Ball charges at the player, afflicting the Wither and Decay effect. They will also leave a trail of Hellfire wherever they walk. Behemoth spawn in the Nether and will also invade the overworld through Nether portals if they are large enough. The Behemoth has 3 variants, the Russet Behemoth, the Dark Behemoth, and the Krampus Behemoth, shown on screen now, which spawns during a winter event. This is the Cockatrice. The Cacodemon has a health of 20, a defense of 1, and a melee attack damage of 3. The Cacodemon can drop 1 to 3 gas tiers, 1 to 6 gunpowder and blaze powder, and 3 to 6 demonic blast charges. In combat, the Cacodemons will fire demonic blast charges at the player, and when hit, the player will be afflicted with the Wither and Paralysis effect. The Cacodemon can be tamed by using demon treats, and then it will be available as a mount, with its mount ability being to fire demonic blast charges. The Cacodemon will spawn in the skies of the Nether. The Cacodemon has 3 variants, the Russet Cacodemon, the Violet Cacodemon, and the Ebon Cacodemon, which functions as a mini-boss and has to be summoned at an altar. This is the Pinky. The Pinky has a health of 30, a defense of 1, and a melee attack damage of 3. The Pinky can drop 1 to 3 Pinky meat, which will be cooked if it was killed with fire. In combat, the Pinky will rush at the player, dealing melee attack damage. The Pinky can be tamed by using demon treats, and will then be available as a mount. Pinkies spawn in the Nether and will attack any other mobs it sees. The Pinky has 2 variants, the Ashen Pinky and the Scarlet Pinky. This is Rajovart, the demonic boss mob, with a health of 4,000, a defense of 2, and a melee attack damage of 4. Rajovart can drop 1 to 2 stacks of Demon Stone Brick, Demon Stone Tile, Demon Crystal, 20 to 50 Blaze Powder, 10 to 12 Blaze Rod, Diamond, Hellfire Ball Charge, Doom Fireball Charge, 2 to 6 Demon Soulstone, and 1 to 8 Nether Star. Rajovart is summoned with the following altar, the centerpiece being 2 pieces of obsidian, and the demonic soul cube with 2 more pieces of obsidian on top of it. Each corner is 3 blocks apart, and is 3 pieces of obsidian with a diamond block on top. you can take any soul key, right click the center, and the boss event will begin. The Rajovart boss battle has 3 phases. The first phase, he will summon Belfs, which will over time become more powerful and explode, giving Rajovart a Hellfire Orb. Once he obtains 5 of them, he will then unleash a wave of Hellfire that causes damage and will burn away any beneficial effects you happen to have on you. So, you can kill the Belfs to prevent this from happening. In Phase 2, Rajovart continues to summon Belfs and will summon Behemoths that he uses to gain his orbs. That will create a Hellfire wall that will rotate around him, similar to the wave, but will last longer, making it more important to kill the Behemoths. In Phase 3, Rajovart will make the orbs on his own, and will create walls that won't move, but still have the same effect. Rajovart has 2 variants, the Lux Rajovart and the Dark Rajovart. And that brings us to the end of the video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. And make sure to follow me on Twitch and Instagram and all that other stuff. I hope that you guys are having an amazing day and that this video could have made your day just that much better. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye!